I'm making this video here real quick just to show what I was going to type up and probably be really confusing about doing it. I actually started this simulator a long time ago because of the argument about going between Odysseus's bow or Goldenbow as to which one was better. And the argument between me and another poster named Kret 2 years ago was he said Odysseus's bow was always better for clearing lanes faster, and I didn't believe him, and, well, the original version showed that Goldenbow was, and, well, I'm not going to go into how that ended. But anyways, this is about that post I was making about the Goldenbow not trinket, whoa, that was a mistake, starter item idea, and saying 10% is not a bad idea. Even though, really, I'm not arguing, I'd love for it to be higher. Just, 10%'s just an idea. But part of the idea is the fact that it's only 800 gold. But let me show something here real quick about the differences between these two, and give an idea on it. First of all, let's pump. I'm going to apologize here. The GUI is really bad right now. I'm currently in the process of adding in a bunch of new stuff. Let's send them down to level 1, set all the abilities down to level 1, and then turn on the Hive steroid for him. And, as you can see, he does about a little over 26 DPS with that. Now, if we turn on Odysseus's bow, against one target, it's a little over a 6 DPS increase. Now, if we add on even one more god, it's a much larger DPS because the bolt bounces between the two gods. One quick note here. Minions are handled wrong right now, and something I need to change. It counts these with the same stats as one god or two gods. So, this is like adding in 8 more gods. So, yeah. But regardless, as you can see, no matter how many gods or targets it's hitting, after you go from one god to two gods, there is no difference. Like I said, if you got two gods, it's just bouncing between them. So Odysseus' bow is actually not that big of an increase beyond going from one target to two. It's increasing your DPS. So that 70 DPS is actually not a bad increase. But if you look, I've got a cost per DPS here. And this just to give you a rough idea of how good or bad of an item is overall. And that number does change drastically as you add on more items. Just to do something really quick here. It went down a lot. Not saying that's a good idea, though. But if we drop this back down to one god, if you add on Goldenbow, once again, it's really high because your DPS didn't go up from it. However, if you attack even one god, goes up, 2, 3, 4, 5. The amount of damage you do just keeps going up because this scales with every new target. If you notice, even with attacking 13, you won't beat Odysseus' bow. That's actually very purposeful with how I said this. The reason being, very simply put, is that if you look, the cost is very low, even at 2 targets. It's lower than Odysseus' bow was. To illustrate this again, even with it doing its maximum damage, it still costs 30. Even at 2 targets, it costs less per DPS. It's even at 10%, it's still better. If you're attacking 4 targets at once, which is what you'll probably do most of the time with it, it's still better. Now, if you really want to know, there is a way to top Odysseus' AoE damage. And if we go here, pump this up to 25%. Most of the time, you're only going to hit 4 targets. If we go back to Goldenbow, once again, like I said, numbers don't change. and we go up here, the notice you're suddenly getting a lot closer to it. So you can then top it. You just have to be hitting a lot of enemies to do it. So does it make it better? Not really. As I've also said, some of this is not being handled right, and I know it. Honestly, if I were to do this, the numbers will look more truthful to how they'll look in the game, because some of this is being double lowered, which it shouldn't be doing. So if I turn off enemy armor, then we look at these numbers again, it'll be more truthful. So, that'll be about 112. How many do we need to attack to break 112 at 25%? Those 5 targets. About somewhere between, well, about 7 targets. 7. Oh, that's my mistake. So about 8 targets to break it. But once again, this is just an 800 gold item. And your cost per DPS is going to be stupidly low compared to the cost of Odysseus's bow if you go up to 25% damage spread. Not something you want to do. So anyways, that's the whole point of this video, is just pointing this out. And yes, this was the original reason behind this, and I've been trying to expand this out to show that you can do more with this than trying to do silly things, like show, hey look, this item would be great. And I shouldn't be making this late at night, I'm rambling. Anyways, that's the whole point of this was, yeah, 10% is probably the right idea for a starter item that mimics Goldenbow.